Hi guys, happy Friday. Sorry my video is a little bit late this week. We had a few technical challenge, sorry, take that off. I don't want to look silly. We had a few technical challenges this week, so I was a little bit later putting this together, but I've got something fun for us to work on this time. I think you're going to like it. On our classroom, you'll see the assignment. There are three different links here. You should choose the first one if it works for you. Unfortunately, with people having different kinds of Chromebooks, not all of these will work for everyone. But if you can, choose the first option here. The one here that says SculptGL. If you don't want to work on a Chromebook, that's actually probably the best option. If you choose option number one here, and if you have another desktop or a laptop PC to work on, you'll find that it actually works a lot better than our Chromebooks, which are a little bit underpowered for what we're trying to do here. So I'm going to walk through all the different options here and show you guys the basic idea. Today's lesson is like pretty straightforward. You're just going to sort of play with your tools and see what you can make just in about half an hour, 40 minutes. And then next week, we're going to make something more specific. For today, it's just sort of familiarize yourself with the tools, play around with them, and then, show me what you can make. So the first link is going to take you to this. Nope, not that. Sorry. To this. And this is called SculptGL. It is a online sculpting tool. So very similar to Photopia in that it runs completely in your browser, and it's amazing. It runs totally in your browser. You can file, or you can save, you can open files, but somehow someone has created this amazing tool that works in your browser. If you have an older Chromebook, this might not work particularly well. When you open the link, you should see this ball. If you don't see this sphere, that means it will not work on that particular computer. If you open it and it's just a plain black screen, then you won't be able to use this, and you'll have to go back and use one of the other options. The second one would be your next best bet. But I'm going to walk through SculptGL first. If this opens on your computer, then that's awesome, and we're going to use it. So the basic idea here is pretty simple. It is essentially a sculpting tool. So when I draw something on the surface of the ball, think of it like sculpting with clay. So as I draw on the ball, it is building up additional layers of clay on top of the surface, and that's the idea. Your tools over here on the right side, you have radius, which is the size of your brush. Okay. You might notice that as I am working on the surface, it's doing both sides at the same time. That's because I have this setting over here turned on for symmetry. This is a really important tool for sculpting in 3D because most things that we're going to sculpt in 3D, whether they're like human forms or animal forms or whatever, tend to be symmetrical. So for that reason, you generally want to have symmetry turned on. So radius controls the size of your brush. Intensity here does exactly what it sounds like. It controls how quickly it builds up material. Right below intensity, you're going to see negative. The standard brush tool works by building up, adding material on top. If you click negative, it'll do just the opposite, which is to say it will actually remove material. So it's like it's digging in as opposed to pulling or adding material on top. So some combination, it looks like I'm making a hippo apparently, or maybe a bull. I think I'm going to go with hippo. As you're sculpting, generally you're going to be doing some combination of removing material and adding material back on. So as I'm working, I will press N, which turns this negative on and off, and think of that as like on the fly switching between adding material to your form, or pressing N and then removing material from the form. Okay. I really wasn't intending to make a hippo, but it appears that that's what I'm making, so I'm just going to go with it. I don't know. Maybe it's not a hippo. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. Other tools in here. So let me just say this first quickly. As you click and drag on the surface, it's altering the surface. If I put my cursor out here and do the same thing, it rotates the view around. So if you are dragging on the object, it will accumulate or remove material from the object. Do it out here and it rotates the view. Okay. A couple other things about the view. You might notice a couple of times I make the view go back to the original starting point. If you press the space bar, it will jump back to your first starting point. That can be really helpful. As you're working, you're going to find that you get into some weird, awkward angles where maybe it's not exactly what you want to see. Press that space bar and it'll jump right back to your starting point, and then you can pretty easily find the angle that you want. If you're using a Chromebook, basically you can do 2 fingers up or down to zoom in the view. If you click and drag in the background while using the brush tool, it rotates the view around. So zoom in and out with 2 fingers up and down. Click and drag in the background to move your view around. Okay. You can also use the arrow keys on your keyboard. The up arrow will zoom in, the down arrow will zoom out. Left and right sort of pans your view left and right. Okay. So again, spacebar will jump back to my original view. As you are moving your view around, another very handy trick here, as you're moving your view, if you tap the Shift key, it will make your view jump to a perfect 90-degree angle. So if I'm like near the side view, for example, I'll press Shift and it jumps to a perfect left-hand view, or Shift and it jumps to a perfect front view, Shift and a perfect bottom view, etc. That is really important when you're modeling in 3D, because sometimes you want to make sure that you're moving something in a exact direction, and to do that you often need to be looking at it from a perfect angle. So as you're working, just if you're rotating your view, keep in mind you can tap that Shift key and it'll jump to that perfect view that you want. Okay. I'm not really making anything specific here, just kind of trying to show the effects of the tools as you turn the view. Kind of looks like a skull now. There you have it. Spacebar, back to my initial view. Let's talk about the other tools. So right now I'm using the brush tool, and it does exactly what I was showing. It sort of adds to or removes material. But that is not the only tool. In fact, it's, in my opinion, not really even the best tool. It's good for certain things, but I really like this drag tool. The drag tool is great for making big changes really fast. So the brush tool is good for like slowly and subtly building up or removing material a little bit at a time, and sort of slowly sculpting the form. The drag tool is a lot more serious, and it sort of well, I'll just show you. The drag tool allows me to make really drastic changes to the form really quickly. Okay, so if you get to the view that you want and then use this drag tool, you can dramatically and quickly change the shape of your object radically. If you make a mistake, change to here. If you make a mistake, you can always press Control Z, just like in Photopia or Photoshop. Control Z will undo. Control Y will redo, but Control Z will undo. So if you do something and you don't like it, you're never stuck with it, you can always make changes, which is very helpful. But there you go. So it looks kind of now like I'm making some kind of maybe a dinosaur bone or a dinosaur skull or something like that. But you'll see using this drag tool, you can really quickly and very, very dramatically make really major changes to your model very easily. Okay, pretty cool. All right, sort of into that. And again, I'm just goofing around. I don't really have an end goal in mind here. I'm just kind of playing with the tools and seeing what I can do. Sort of got buck teeth. It's kind of funny. I'll take it. It's fine. Okay, so there's my form. So that's the drag tool. Again, it has radius, just like the brush tool. So if I want to affect a smaller area, you can always turn down the radius. Sorry, trying to talk and think and work at the same time doesn't always work so well. So I'm just turn down my radius here, and that gives me these smaller sections. I kind of gave him like kind of almost a hand form there on the top of his horns or whatever you want to call it. If I make a larger radius, it will affect the entire shape more dramatically. If I wanted to give him more like a moose antler kind of situation, I could do that. Anyway, it's super fun. Super fun. It's amazing that we can do this on a Chromebook at all, but at the same time, it's also amazing how easy it is, and you can just make just such cool variation in these forms so quickly. It's awesome. So what could I do with this thing? I could use this for importing into a game engine. This can save as a OBJ file, which can be opened with most 3D printing software. So I could print a 3D printed version of this if I wanted to, and I could import this into just about any game engine. So pretty awesome. The other tools in here, I'm going to let you play with them. The smooth tool, I'm just going to caution not to overuse this one too much. What this one does is it adds extra what are called vertexes or polygons into your object, and the end result is that it looks smoother than when it started, but the way that it does that is by adding a lot more information, a lot more details to your object. If I turn on wireframe view here, you can see this is the actual wireframe model that makes this model work. And right now I'm using the smooth tool. If I use it a few times, you'll see what happens is it adds a bunch of extra. Actually, it doesn't seem to be doing that. Might be thinking of the other program that does that. It actually looks really good. Okay. Anyway, so play with the tools. Some of the other tools you can try out are, for example, Paint. Depending on what kind of Chromebook you have, this may or may not cause problems for you. Some of the Chromebooks don't allow you to pick the color. When you click the color here, it doesn't show you the full selection, but if it works for you, when you click over here on color, it will allow you to pick any color or any shade that you want. It changes the whole object at first just so you can see it, but then what you can do is you can actually just paint right on there, and you can pick a variety of colors, a variety of shades, whatever, doesn't matter. I'm not going to get into the other options. The only other one that you might want to try is transform. I'll get into that just a little bit. Let me change that color back because it's really obnoxious. There you go. So the only other tool I want to talk about is transform. What transform allows you to do is to scale an object up or down, or also move it. So you scale the entire object by adjusting this orange circle. If you drag the orange circle, it scales the object up and down. If you grab the other little sort of cubes here, it will scale in only one direction. So if I wanted to squish or stretch this, I could do so like that or like this. I can also use this to move the thing, the object, around the 3D window. Now, why would I want to do that? Well, here's why I would want to do that. I could, for example, go up here to my scene menu, and I can add another shape. So let's say I wanted to have multiple characters or multiple figures within this scene. I could add in another object like a cylinder. When I do that, it's going to automatically place it in the center of my scene here, but that may interfere with the object that I already have. So using this transform tool, I can move this object around or move either of them. So if I click on an object, it activates the transform for that particular object, and I can move it around. So if I wanted to make this, let's say, a column with this object on top of it, almost like a head atop a Persian column or something like that. There you have it. That's how I would do it. So I want you to play with these tools. It's nothing specific at the moment that I'm asking you to do specifically. At the moment, it's just a matter of I want you to play with each of the tools, play with controlling the view, and just have fun with it. What you're going to submit to me is a screenshot of your window. So on your Chromebook, the way that you do that is you hold the Control key and you press the Show Window button. That is, I had a picture of it. I'll put it up here. All right. Sorry, too many windows. There, can you see that? Yeah. So on your Chromebook, this is the Show Window button right here. If you press Control and press that button, it'll make a screenshot. If you press Control plus Shift and that button, so that's how I would do it. Control, Shift, and then that Show Window button. It will allow you to make a screenshot of one specific area. And so what I want you to do is just make a screenshot of your 3D window here. So you're going to make a screenshot just of this area, and then that's what I want you to upload to our Google Classroom. So go ahead and submit that picture to me. You can't save a picture, an image file from within this software. If you want to save whatever you've made, you don't have to at this point, but if you just want to, you would go to File and you would do Save SGL. Save SGL. This is a SculptGL file that will put that in your download folder, which you can then open later on. So if you're working and you want to save, just click Save SGL. If you're working and you want to later open this on a 3D printer, you would save as an OBJ. For right now, just click Save SGL. That's it. So you're just going to play with this. Again, I'm not telling you what to make at the moment. You don't have to make this. Please don't make this. So a couple of the other things that I made sort of a demon head here. Again, this took maybe 5 minutes of just pushing and pulling. I earlier made a sort of a start of a alien kind of creature. So I want you to try that, submit it, or save it and submit it. If SculptGL doesn't work for you, you can try the other link to SculptGL, which is this one. It's not quite as capable. This is an older version. This version will not let you put in multiple figures or multiple objects at the same time. So you're just going to be working with one object. But other than that, it works the same. The symmetry works the same. The brush tools, drag tools basically work the same. So it's not a huge deal if you can't use the full original version on your Chromebook. If you can't, you can use this one. I actually recommend that you use this one. This is called SculptFab. On our classroom, this is the second link here, and it works pretty similarly to what I showed in the last video. You still have your basic tools, you still have your symmetry setting, you still control your view basically the same way. That spacebar trick does not work in this one. In SculptFab, if you want to reset your camera, you just go to camera and then reset. Other than that, it works pretty similarly. It looks a little bit different, but it's quite similar. You can click File, Save OBJ if you are, or STL, either one of these. Actually, I think on some people are having trouble getting the OBJ to save, but you should be able to save an STL file. So give it a try. Send me a message if you have any problems or questions, and good luck.